The other thing I wanted to say is that we're so glad that PURA has opened an investigation. We think this is really critical, given that Eversource clearly wasn't prepared for the magnitude of the storm, and it's important for PURA to review the rate increase that was granted in light of all of the poor preparations across the state.
On the scale of the storm, you can't always have everybody there from day one, but they should have anticipated this. They should have seen what was going on. UI had a better catch on what was going on in terms of the nature of the weather. We should have been pre-positioning people a lot earlier. We should have made sure we had the inventory of everything we needed in place, ready to go. And that's why we're going to take a look at the incentives and disincentives of people rewarded when they get it right, but not rewarded when they get it wrong. I just want to say I heard a couple other stories that really touched me. You know, one was a guy named Jamie Sewell. Did you hear that story? He's got a sports system here, and he had extra generators. And, you know, your water system here was on a generator. We had more critical facilities on a generator. If those generators ran out of fuel, if those generators malfunctioned before we got power back, we would have really had some critical issues. That didn't happen. In part, that didn't happen because people like Jamie stepped up and lent out 17 generators right when we needed it.
Idling. It's a three-phase approach where a crew comes through to evaluate. They then call into the repair crew, here's what you need on such and such a street. The second crew comes through, repairs, and then a third crew comes through and flips the switch. So once you understand, and again, I guess from an Eversource standpoint, from a community relations point, yes, people are seeing trucks driving around and they're not being adequately educated as consumers as to what those trucks could be.
Make sure in terms of how we regulate people, their rate of return is not tied to just how much money they spent, but their performance. And their performance is measured in terms of how fast you respond, how quickly you get the lights back on, how prepared you were, how much you pre-position people in place in anticipation of what's going on. So we reward you when you get that right, but we don't reward you when you get it wrong.
The governor and I heard from mayors and first selectmen across the state was that they had liaisons and that didn't know anything about how many crews were coming and when. And there were literally first selectmen and mayors out in the northwest corner or the northeast corner that had liaisons that had no information. That's unacceptable. Here, there was a different story with communication, but that's something that we need to fix for the future.
From there, we're going to learn from this and make sure we do better and better and better when it comes to our faster response, because timing is key. This is not a utility. This is not just electricity. This is life-giving for people. And that's what each and every one of you do every day during this last 6 days of hell. Thank you, everybody.